Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are talking about how to change your mindset, meaning how detach from all things to be ready and to move and receive the new things. What do you think about that?
I think this is a good subject because we meet people a lot that are looking to move here, and some of the things that they say is, how do they? Well, one of the questions they ask us is, how did y'all do it? Outside of being financially ready, how did we mentally prepare our move here to Dominican Republic? So we figured that this would be a good opportunity to kind of share some of the things we did, and also some of the things that a lot of you get attached to in your current life, who have a hard time detaching from those things in order to move forward into maybe the next phase of your life or to accept something new.
Yeah. It can be different things because for everybody it's not the same. Sometimes people how to be ready to probably find a new job, or some people are just attached to family, some other people are attached to material things. So for everybody it's not the same, but everybody asks themselves the same question: how do I get ready and detach from those things to be able to move and then just start doing some new things?
So what we did was we came up with several things that we've heard based on what people have talked to us about, that they are attached to when they're looking to move, that they say, I'm attached to this, so how do I detach from it and move forward? So the first one I think is high up on the list. We're not rating them in any particular order, but it's high up on the list, and that's your home or apartment. So people get attached to their home because some may have, or apartment because some may have lived in these places for
Many years.
Many years. Some people that may have grew up in those homes or had them or bought them when they first got their job. They've been in them 20-some years and they just can't detach from it. So let's talk a little bit about how do you detach from your home.
Okay, I think this other thing that people can do with detach their own. Okay, some people immediately think, let's sell it. But probably some people are not ready to sell their houses or apartment. But today's day, there's so many things that you can do if you are not ready to sell your apartment, unless that you are thinking to use the money that you make to be able to make that move, or to help you to make that move, buy a new house or new apartment where you're going. But if that is not the case, I think it's many things that you can do in the meantime before you say, okay, I'm letting this one go.
So basically what you just said, so there's a few things you can do. You can sell it, be done with it, or you can rent it out long term, and the other way is short term through Airbnb. So if you're not so attached to your house, you can just up and sell it. You just up and sell it, take the proceeds and the profit from that, and buy you another house or put a down payment on a house over here. We have some people who have, they've been living in their house for a while, or they may have inherited the house. They don't want to get rid of it. If you're that attached to it and you don't want to get rid of it, you can definitely use it for long-term rental, and you can also use it for Airbnb, short-term rental, Airbnb. And also, just in case, you get to the point where, you move abroad and you don't like it, you still have your place to come back to.
That's what I was about to say. That is may not be a good idea for some people. Some people make work. For me, I would say, I can make money, I can Airbnb and make some money, and I can use it when I go over there, do shopping, or want to stay sometime in the US, because I would like to go and spend time in a year, like month to month in the United States. But for some people, that may not work, because with some people, they will still have the mindset, and they can detach. If they are not able to detach from it, every time there's something happening in the new place that you are having in your mind that your house is there waiting for you. And the only thing that you're gonna be thinking of is to go back to your house because you have it there. So for some people, it may be to be able to be done with it is just to get rid of it, and then you don't keep thinking, I have my place there, I have my place there.
Yep. Cross the bridge and burn it down. That way you can't go back.
Oh my God, I mean, you're going too far.
So the question is, to kind of, wrap this point up, this particular point is how did we detach from our property that we had in Alabama? So the way we did it is, number one is when we moved back when we first moved over here in 2015, we both rented out our place. All our place was rented out. And when we moved back over to the States, they were still rented out. So we had sort of already kind of detached from them as far as from an emotional standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, we wasn't detached from it because we were still making money off of it. So we ended up selling your property.
We was in Florida.
Yep, and we sold that out, 2000?
I think it was, well, no, it was before we came. It was before, that was probably 2020 or 2019, something like that.
Yeah, so we ended up selling her property that we had, and we still kept the property my property that was in Alabama. And we recently just sold that one.
Recently.
And I remember her asking me when I told her, she said, "How you feel about not having that property?" Because I had it since 2008. Well, I built it. I built it from the ground up, and she said, "How I felt?" I was like, I don't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't. But I did have some type of. I wasn't emotionally attached to it, but I did have some type of sentiment toward it because it was the first house that I bought. I lived in it for 7 years. So, it did have some type of value, but it wasn't, to me, it wasn't, of value to a point where I just couldn't detach from it. So, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So,
I was having some feeling. I always thought, well, we have a house. I always thought we have a house over there in Alabama, in Huntsville. Even in case I want to go and spend some time. Now we don't have it anymore. So
but
that bridge is burned.
Yeah, but that was one thing you even said. She's saying that, but she really said, well, you know what? It'd be different if the house was in Florida.
If it was in Florida, I would say no, we ain't selling, we're keeping it, because I always say that I wouldn't want to have a house in Florida because that is closer to here, and then you can jump, and if you are gonna go to the state, do some shopping and stuff like that, you can go in Florida and be right back.
Right. So, but she didn't have any plans on going back to Alabama, and neither did I. So, we wasn't emotionally attached to Alabama. That's for sure.
Okay, that bridge burned.
Yeah.
So moving to the next point. And the next one, I think we didn't put it like you say in any order, but this one is a very, very big one, huge, I say family.
Let me interrupt real quick, because I said I'm not emotionally attached to Alabama. I'm from Alabama, and I got family in Alabama. I'm not meaning I'm not attached. My mom be watching and say, you don't love me no more? No, I do. I mean, my family's from Alabama, but I'm not emotionally attached to that area where we were living in North Alabama, where the properties were. So my family's from Mobile. Our homes were in Huntsville, Alabama. So.
Okay, that was like you call that and you fix it before you go any further. But the next point is family or close family. How do you detach? It's not that you detaching, because how can you detach from family? But just knowing that you're gonna be a little, I would say, farther away from them. But I think that's basically not emotionally, but that is mentally, because even though sometimes that you just know that you are in the state, but sometimes you live so far from your family that you need to take a plane, just like you will do if you have to come over here. So sometimes it is just mentally knowing that, he's in another country, and know that he's right there in the United States.
People think that, you stay out of country, that you have to be like over in Asia somewhere that's, a 20, 25 hour or day flight. We're actually an hour and 45 minutes from Florida. You know what I'm saying? So from the U.S. So it's really a mental thing, because even when I was staying in Huntsville, and my family, of course, like I said, in Mobile, Huntsville is like a 5-hour drive from Huntsville to Mobile, and I didn't make that drive maybe twice a year, maybe. I mean, that's no different. I can move over here and the same thing. If I was only visiting my family once or twice a year, I could do that from here.
which we had. I mean, every year for the past 3 years that we have been here, we always meet at least once a year to be together with the family, especially in December.
Right, right. So prepare yourself to grasp that concept and kind of like just understand that you're only, an hour and 45 minutes from the mainland of the United States.
I think not the only difference, but one of the difference is that some of them places when you are in the state you can drive. Even if you want to, you can go visit your family driving if you wanted to. But here you cannot drive. You have to need to take a plane.
Right, right. So, and also for people who, I think this more pertains to people who live in the same city as their family too. I think that I don't want to miss that group of people because I'm speaking for myself who live away from my family. You got some people who live
in the same city.
Same city. Some of them even stay on the same street. For those people, I understand detaching from that could be a little bit more difficult than someone who stays in a different state, maybe several hours away, because they're used to seeing their family on a day-to-day basis. So, maybe you could tell them, how did you detach when you got your call to say, hey, you going to the U.S.? You just saw dollar signs, so that
I was ready. I was ready to detach. When I was approved with my visa, I was ready before that, because when I went over there to decided that I wanted to do it, went over there for the visa, I was already mentally prepared. And yeah, it is true. It is a little different when you get it approved. You know the reality. Oh my God, it is real. Because sometimes you try to see if it work. But I was ready. I was very young. I don't think that I was thinking too much about it. I think now I would think more about it than I used to do before. Before I was more in the mood, like learning, making money. Try to help bring my families over there to the United States. It was so, all those things push you, like, don't think about the other things. Those things just keep you, that you don't think about the rest until you're there. And then when you're there alone with no family, then it is when you think about your family.
Right, right, yep. And the kind of tie into family also is detaching from your kids. Okay. And when I say your kids, meaning your older kids, because obviously if the kids are young and you're moving, they're going to come with you. But, some people have kids who are in college, and although they may be 18 or 19 and they're going to, they're off in college, already. Parents tend to still seem to have this attachment to them. And I would just jump in real quick before I, let you take this by the ham, is that, guys, those kids going to have their own life. They're going to grow up. They're going to have their own life. Yeah, they love you, but trust me, they're gonna grow up, get their own life, and they're gonna move on. So, as a parent, we just gotta accept that, and go ahead and continue to, live our lives, But me personally, and I'm not telling people what to do. They can do whatever they want to do, but I wouldn't change my plans around for my life because I have a child that's of age, unless they just had some type of really, disability or some type of issue where they, I wouldn't want them there by themselves. But, at the end of the day, I know at some point they're going to live their life, and which that's what they should do, that I need to do the same.
But look at it a different way. Even your close family or your kids, like if they are older, look at it as either you're moving here or you're moving to another country. Look at it as an opportunity that they have to visit another country and shift a little bit the mindset that people have about how people sometimes don't appreciate what they have or they missing or what they don't have, because it can be things that you have over there that you take it for granted, and then they don't have it over here. You see how people live it. Another thing can be there is good thing over here that you don't realize that you need in your life. So that can be a good experience for people to live with the family members, sister, brothers, uncles, or your kids.
Right. That's a touchy, subject, that part about your kids, because everybody have this, especially moms.
Especially mothers have that attachment.
That attachment to their kids. So it's kind of hard, but you also got to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? You got to be realistic. So, you could even if they're in college, you could wait the 4 or 5 years after they get out of college. and then decide you want to move, and then then you got to be realistic. You look at like, what did I really, do besides just wait on them to get out of college? Was it really worth that? So.
Yeah, don't sit over there waiting, because sometimes, well, I see this in movies. I'm just talking about movies now. When the kids went to college, they saw in the house, like the parents, the couple be sitting at home just waiting for them to call. When are you coming? Are you coming in holidays? If they just be at home alone waiting in an empty house that they don't fulfill them anymore, because it used to be full of joy or full of noise because the kids was there, and now it's empty.
Yeah.
So it's time for you to move on, and do some new things that you enjoy doing.
And also, just to add to that, you'd be surprised because kids, they understand what their moms and dad and people have sacrificed for them. They understand the things that you've done for them. So for you to go out and start living your life and having a good time after you raised them, you'll be surprised that how proud they'll be to see you in that happy space in your life after all you did for them. So also think about that piece of it too.
So the next point is your belongings.
Yeah.
Whether it's cars, household, goods, let's say like a sofa or couch that you have been sleeping on that couch for about 20 years. It is so comfortable. You can't even think about leaving that couch behind.
Got your print on it laying in it.
Yeah, you have your whole body printed in there.
We all have things, stuff that we've accumulated over years and years that I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a hoarder, but there are certain things that I accumulated over the years that, I had to part ways. Remember when we were moving here, I had magazines. I used to collect Source magazines, XSL magazines. I had a whole bunch of CDs and things that I didn't even want to give, and I hadn't even listened to some of those CDs in years.
Of course I remember. Some of them are here. I say, I'm looking at you like, you remember? Yeah, I remember, because some of them came with us.
Yeah,
you have magazines, you have CDs, you have even the little cassette they used to put in the
cassettes that I have that I just can't part ways with.
We have a whole bunch of movies that we watched a long time.
It was hard for me to get rid of my XXL magazine, so I just narrowed them all down to Tupac and Master P. So anything that had Tupac and Master P on the cover, I kept all of them. So yeah, we have these belongings that we tend to accumulate, and I think this is probably one of the easiest things to detach from, although people have emotional attachments to some of these things. So how did I do it? Like I say, I kind of went through the boxes of CDs and magazines probably like 10 times, picking one every time. It's okay, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. And I kind of narrowed it down from maybe 10 boxes all the way down to 3 or 4 boxes. So, start with some of the things that that you feel like everything you accumulate is not valuable. It's just, some of it's just junk that you just like, just let's be honest. And the same goes for me. A lot of the stuff I accumulated, it was just, it had some value to it, but it was most of it just a bunch of things that I just like. I don't know if I would call it junk, but maybe I should change the word, not junk, but just some things that I like that I just wanted to keep. So I say go and just kind of narrow it down, see what's really, really important to you, and take those things. Even when we got here, I still had to get rid of some of the stuff, because even when we got here, those 3 or 4 boxes that I narrowed down when we was in Florida, when we got here, I had to narrow that down to 1 or 2 boxes, because first of all, we have space to have all this stuff. Yeah.
And some of those things are sentimental values, but some of the other things are also value, like material values, like some of the things that you probably have that they are going to be very expensive over here that you try to bring, like your TVs, and probably you have a nice bedroom set, or you have a nice dining set, or even in your living room, you say, okay, that's a nice set, it costs me this much. Yeah, it's going to be very expensive, that I can bring it. But unfortunately, when you go and check to see, let me see how I can bring it over there, how much it will cost me, when you come to find out, you will pay a crazy price just to bring the belonging here, and then at the end of the day, you probably do better just getting rid of them, and then just get some new ones.
Because I've heard people say to us, say, I got a couch that I want, or I got my favorite TV. Man, listen, they got TVs over there, they got couches. You have to detach from that and find your new favorite couch. Come get you a new favorite TV. Cause like say when we was talking about shipping a couch over here, it was, $400-500. No, for a coffee table or something like that. I mean, why would you pay $500 ship a coffee table?
Refrigerators, stove, and everything, all that is electronic are very expensive to bring over here, of course, because you have to pay taxes on those.
Right.
But yeah.
And another belonging that's probably more important than just your little everyday things, and it's your car. Some people they're attached to their cars, especially guys that like antique cars and the old school models and things like that. Hey, listen, if it's 5 years older, it's not getting over here. Now, I don't know if they have a law about antique cars, because antique cars, typically there are laws around antique cars. I don't know if if it's a law here or not. But if you got I can tell you right now, if you got like your favorite the 1998 Acura that everybody used to like, that ain't coming over here. No matter how much you like it, you gotta get rid of that.
They probably have that. Probably they have something like that, but I would say it would be more like for dealers than people that bring it over. I know we have in the law, like if you retire, you can, I think, bring a car, just one that is older than the 5 years. 5 years market for anybody that want to ship a car. If you want to ship a car, either you are resident, not resident, retired, or retired, you can ship a car. It cannot be older than 5 years. But I think if you are retired, you use the retirement law, you can bring a car that is older than 5 years, I believe.
All right, so that sounds good. For people who retire, you get a get out of jail free card. You're able to bring a car that's older than 10 years. But for those who aren't retired, you won't be able to bring your car that you've been driving ever since you was in college. Like I had me a 1986 Toyota Camry that I'm gonna tell you, I hated to get rid of it when I had to, but it was just tired of driving. So how do we detach from our cars? Well, we brought one of the cars over here.
Because it was within the 5 years, it was in the last year.
Yeah, so we brought that car over, and I had a Honda Accord, an older Honda Accord. It wasn't within the 5 years, and I sold it. Before we left, we sold it. And so I bought that car while I was in Florida. So we was in Florida for 5 years. I mean, I had no emotional attachment to that car, so it was easy to get rid of it. Yeah.
Okay, basically everything, how we did it, we put it online, we started selling some things, the car, all the household items that we could, we sold, we gave away, and then at the end we pick and put in boxes the things that we wanted to bring, like kitchen, like pots, pans, things for the kitchen, the bathroom, and small things like that didn't have to pay any taxes to bring it over, just to put it in a box and ship it over here.
Right.
And then we got rid of everything.
So another thing I wanted to add is when you start selling your things, because people asked us, how did we get rid of our things? And the way we got rid of our things was on Facebook Marketplace, most of it. I don't think we used anything else on Facebook Marketplace. And, I was ready to go, but I'm going to tell you, I think the first item that left was our bed. What was the first thing?
No, that wasn't the bed. I think it was a sofa.
The sofa.
Something.
It was something big.
In the living room.
When they came and they grabbed it, and then you go off and you go to work, and then you come back, and then you see that piece not there, and it's kind of like, where my couch at?
And slowly but surely everything keeps going.
And then slowly but surely everything just kept disappearing, and it was gone. And I'm like, hey, we really doing this? You know what I'm saying? Even though I was ready, you still have this hesitancy, like, am I really doing this? So you're gonna have that feeling.
Is it real?
Right.
Is this really happening?
Like, it ain't no turning back. Which you can turn back, but it's no turning back right now. You know what I'm saying? So, the lease was up. Because once you put your lease, especially if you're in an apartment, now if you got your house or something different, if you're in an apartment, you say my lease is up. We knew our lease was gonna be up. We knew that our stuff was being sold. So, it comes to a point where it starts to get real, and you just got to work your way through it. So sometimes we look back on it now, and I can't lie, it's one of the best decisions that I've made. Was picking up and moving over here to Dominican Republic.
Yep, I also don't regret it, even though I was hesitant. I say Is it time for me to go back? Is it time? Yeah, but it was time.
Yeah, I mean, because the unknown scares everybody. You know, if we knew how things were going to turn out, you know, we do it, you know, or we wouldn't do it, depending on, you know, what it looks like, what that turnout looks like. But again, that's not life. You know, life is an unknown. So, you know, what would be the point of life if you knew everything that was going to happen? So it kills the excitement, and at the same time, sometimes it brings, you know, sorrow. But hey, that's life. So what's the next one?
Comfort level.
Comfort.
How did you get detached from your comfort level of the city that you are living in?
Yeah. So how do you, you know, detach from all your, you know, fast food restaurants, your Instacarts, all the conveniences that you have living, especially people who live in the United States. I mean, the United States is a place where everything is pretty much done for you, and it's done at a rate, a speed that's, you know, that we consider, you know, the right speed. When you move over to another country like Dominican Republic, you know, you don't get that same, you know, attention and speed when doing things. Not with everything, but some things, you know, some things that we're accustomed to. So, you know, how do you detach from that? And some things, and some things you have to understand too, that may be a little bit better than what you are accustomed to in the States. You may be asking yourself, well, what could that be? I mean, pumping gas.
Yeah, that's a one. When it's
You know?
raining, well, it's never cold over here, but
Yeah.
when it's raining outside, you don't feel like getting out of your car, or it's too hot and you have somebody to pump in your car. Like the colmados. You have Instacart over there, but here you have the colmados. You can call the colmados here for pretty much anything.
Right.
Sometimes if it's just a little thing, you feel bad calling because you say they're not gonna bring that. Or sometimes some colmados you have to buy a certain amount for them to make the trip. But for the most part, they bring you anything.
Right, right. They'll deliver you a bag of chips, man, and a Coke, you
And a
know.
Coke.
And with no delivery fee. I mean, you tip the person, but you know, you pay for what you buy, but you don't. There's no delivery fee attached to it. But but going back to pump your gas, man, I hadn't pumped gas in years. You know, I don't even know how I'd feel if I was to go back to the States and have to get out the car and pump gas. I'm not saying that it'll be awkward pulling up to a gas station and me getting out of the car and pumping my own gas. After being here almost 3 years and never getting out the car and pumping my gas.
Yeah, it's kind of different. And I also agree, it's a lot of things that are in the state, especially in the state that you are very comfortable getting or doing, that you need to get ready or detached mentally for when you move a place to the Dominican Republic. And sometimes it is hard.
You know, to be honest with you, I think that's probably one of the hardest out of all of it. I mean, you may think detaching from your kids and your home is hard. That's maybe difficult, but I mean, you know your home, you know, if your home is being rented out, you still got your home, you know your kids there doing good, talk to them on the phone. But leaving a certain level of comfort and then coming to a place, not just saying Dominican Republic, but just anywhere else that's not, you know, the US, it's difficult to kind of change your the way you normally do things. That's because you have this habit and these patterns that you're used to doing, and we all know the older we get, the more we're stuck in our ways, and the more we want to do things our way. So I think that right there is probably the most difficult one to do, is trying to detach from your norms, your previous norms, and to adjusting into these new norms. Now, how do we do it? I'll tell you how I did it. I'm gonna just tell you, it took patience. You know, it took patience. But as I said in the video before, is that by me coming back and forth over here since 2009, 10, I kind of understood how things work. So it was not like I was just dropped in the middle and then I just couldn't figure it, you know, that it really just, the differences, you know, kind of shook me up. That wasn't the case. But by just being back and forth for so long, I kind of understood it. But to this day, some things still irritate me, but it's not to the point where it's a deal breaker for me. So how did you do it?
For me being a Dominican and also coming back here pretty much almost every year or more than once a year, it wasn't difficult at all, because I already was used to it. But it's certain things that it still irritate me how it can be so different from here to over there. How people do it over here so different. And I'm from here, and it irritates me. But I'm not gonna mention it because I already have talked about those certain things before. But that is something that you definitely, if you are moving abroad, either here, Dominican Republic, or any other place, that you need to get detached and get used to the new place that you go in. Because if you know you're gonna be frustrated all the time. If you're gonna be mad, if you're gonna be ready to go back. If there's the thing that you are not prepared, you have to let go. And then it starts, okay, this is our thing different here, but okay, I'm gonna have more patience, I'll do this or this way, because if you know that you better don't burn that bridge, because you will have to use it. So something that while you're trying to make the move, I will say, God, try to visit the country, try to get used to the thing, how it work over here. That way you are mentally prepared, or you prepare, that you know how things work before you make the move.
And one last point about that is, once you accept the fact that you're not in your home country and things work different, the better off you'll be. And some of the things that you see that may bother you, they'll stop bothering you. When you start seeing that, for example, with driving, pulling out in the middle of the street when you're trying to enter traffic.
Walking without looking, crossing the street.
Crossing the street without looking. Dominicans will put their foot in the middle of the street and then they'll look. That stuff like that used to bother me, but now it's like, I accept it for what it is, because it's not that, I used to look at it if it was wrong, but I don't look at things that they do as wrong anymore. I just look at it as just the way their culture is. That's the way they do. Now, you could say that there's a better way to do it, but I don't typically say the things that they do are wrong, because just because we don't do it or I'm not used to doing it, I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I just say, hey, there's a better way to do this, but hey, if that's what you want to do, do it. And just get used to it. Because I'm telling you, the moment you accept the place that you're at and what these people are doing, whether it's here or anywhere else, as it's just a culture, the better off you'll be. Because we accept the good things about Dominican Republic. We accept, oh man, we love them partying, we love this, we accept the good things, but the bad things, or not the bad things, are some of the negative things that don't align with how we, or what we're used to, we tend to let that frustrate us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to try to get not comfortable, but trying to change and seeing it, okay, don't let it get you, frustrate you so much.
Yeah, because I can go to the bar and I'll have me a few drinks and blah, 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 and I get in my car and I go home. I ain't scared, no police gonna stop me. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm good. So I'm not gonna let them drive me crazy because they drive, because I love the fact that I can go to the bar and I can have a drink and not be scared as I'm driving home and then have to worry about, okay, how people driving. So, if you're gonna take the good, you gotta take the bad with it too. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. And so the last one is jobs, which is, probably is for like a small segment of the people we've spoken to, that some people, they're so attached to their jobs that they actually really want to move over here, but they don't want to put in the effort to try to find something where they can work online or take their skill set and try to do something with their own skill set, because they're so attached to, or
used to their job that they have.
Used to their job, used to the steady pay. And so, if you want to move abroad, and whether it's here or wherever, and your job is not where you can work remotely, then you're gonna have to detach from it. There's no way that you could, that you're gonna be able to work, at your job and also live a life over here.
Mm-hmm. You will be traveling what? If you work Monday to Friday, you're gonna be traveling every weekend, every other weekend. Mm-hmm. Once a month. at some point gonna be tiring to do that, I would say.
Right. So, how did I detach from my job? It was easy for me. I ain't gonna even lie to you. You know, I was waking up every morning, driving down 95 from, Pompano Beach, Florida, all the way to Miami. I don't miss that at all. It was an easy detachment for me. Again, I've always been of the entrepreneur mindset. I've always, been that type of person, cut from that type of cloth. So it was easy for me to do it. And I know for some people, it's difficult because they don't have that entrepreneur mindset, and they operate or function better in an environment that's structured. Me, I function better in an environment that's, that I create, so basically it was easy for me to do it. If you're not the type of person that can function outside a structured environment, it'll probably be difficult for you to do it, entrepreneurship and working on your own, not even just entrepreneurship, even if you're contracting, remotely, if you're not able to work in an environment that's not structured, it's going to be hard for you to maintain. And I say for you guys that that's already hit retirement or got your pension or whatever, we meet people that they already can get their first retirement or they got a pension, and they say, "Oh, I want to work 4 or 5 more years so I get an extra $1,000." Man, you don't know what's going to happen in 4 or 5 years. Do the math on what it's going to take for you to live in whatever country you want to live in, and go ahead and make that move. And ask yourself, is an extra $1,000 a month in the next 5 years even worth it? You know what I'm saying? It may not even be worth it, man. So I just want to add that point there to it.
Okay.
So that's it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
I think that's are the things that people need, pretty much know the things that probably if we are missing something or anything, or if it was hard for you to detach for any other thing that we didn't mention, because it can be the people it's very hard, have some of the things that it was hard or it is being hard, because you can have some people right now that trying to make the move, but they have some things that is hard to get detached from. If you are one of those, just let us know, send us a message or an email.
Man, just let it go. Let it go. And my advice is
burn that bridge.
Burn the bridge and embrace the unknown. That's what I tell you. But the caveat to that is preparation. That's the caveat. If you plan correctly and you prepare correctly, then there should be no reason why you should burn the bridge. So I'm not talking to the people that just want to go gun ho. Not those type of people. I'm not telling you to do that. Don't crash out. For the ones who plan and prepare properly, burn the bridge. We'll see you in Dominican Republic.
Okay. So this is all we have right now. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share. And we will see you in my next one. Bye.
Peace.